Noon. My name is Sandy Tutabeni, and I am the chair of the Adjustment Committee. And for those new to this committee, we are not chiropractors. Adjustment in this instance means that we deal with appeals to anything going on regarding land, usage, code, those kinds of things. I always had a problem with the name Board of Adjustment myself, but in the back of my head, I say we're the Appeals Committee. So welcome aboard, and I'm happy to say we have a quorum today. All new faces except for Beverly and myself, so we're really happy to have these new gentlemen, and I thank you for joining us. So a quorum it is. I'm not aware of any absent BOA members. Dida. Oh, sorry, Mike. Mr. Dida is absent. All righty. At this point, I would like to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and happy to report Bob said he would lead us.
Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Righty. If anyone in the audience would like to make a comment, this is your opportunity to fill out a card. They're right outside the door. And if you could bring them back in with you, that would be great. All right. Well, thank you very much. Will.
Good evening. All righty. Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board. My name is Will Dingy. I'm your Assistant Director for Development Services here with the town of Chino Valley. The case before you tonight is variance 2026-01. This is a request by Darren Saunders for a variance to reduce the rear yard setback of Lot 8 in Mesa View South Unit 1 subdivision from 40 feet to 10 feet for the construction of a detached 2,425 square foot workshop, APN 306-21127, address 280 Lauren Lane here in Chino Valley, Arizona, 86323. So as read, this is that workshop that is being proposed to have that lessened variance at the rear yard of the property here. The request is to have it at, well, the proposal is to have it about approximately 11 feet off the rear property line, which is on the western boundary here, and then approximately 11 feet off of the southern side property. And then there is an elevation sample here at the bottom right hand of your screen. Per code, this property is zoned single-family residential 1 acre minimum, SR1, and per code, the listed setbacks for this district is a 20-foot front, 10-foot side, and 10-foot rear. Now, it's important to note that this information was shared with the applicant and property owner prior to him purchasing the property. So staff did provide the SR1 setbacks. The only thing that supersedes these setbacks, however, is when there is a subdivision plat, or sometimes there are some CC&Rs that we are made aware of right before the meeting. This case, the plat itself does show that there is a 100-foot drainage easement at the front property line, which puts him back at 100 feet before he can do any sort of construction. 10 feet on the north and south, which are the sides, and then there is a 40-foot setback as dictated under the typical setbacks depiction pulled straight from the plat here. So typical lots would be a 40 front and a 40 rear. However, lot 8, and I have an exhibit later in this presentation that shows a drainage easement of 100-foot width that impacts lots 2 through 9, excuse me. So the applicant's request this evening is to reduce that rear setback to 10 feet for the workshop. So in order to accommodate its construction and placement on this property, as I previously mentioned, there are a handful of lots within the Mesa View South subdivision that is impacted by this 100-foot easement for drainage, along with that 40-foot here, those that are impacted as well. So Arizona's a little specific when it comes down to what is a characteristic for grounds for a variance, and it can't be something that is self-imposed, i.e. it can't just be because you want it. There has to be something specific about the property physically that restricts the enjoyment of the full use of the property that those in the neighborhood or in the same zoning district would also experience. So in this case, specifically Lot 8, it is impacted by four kind of prominent features here that restrict where things can be built on lot number 8. The first is being that drainage easement. The second one is the 40-foot rear setback. And the third is the cul-de-sac lot that is really controlling on the, how the lot lays itself. On cul-de-sac lots, you get those pie shape or the wedge lots. So you get the narrow front where it makes contact with the street, and then it grows, widens out as it goes. And this inherently pushes that house back because you have a tighter distance between your side property lines. So you're forced to put that house even further back. And as a result of the forced placement of the house in conjunction with the lot, the lot drainage easement, that 100-foot, it also restricts that the setback has to be, the septic has to be placed at the rear of the house. It can't be placed in the front where some of that open space would be. So if you did not have the drainage easement, there's that possibility of placing septic in the front. So it would open up more of this backyard to place, for additional construction. However, with the easement for drainage that shows that there's periodic inundation of water here, you don't want to be putting the septic in those flood areas. So it forces the septic to go back to the rear, and you need to be 20 feet away from septic to ensure that there is compaction testing and all that jazz. So you're really restricted to where you can place buildings at the rear of the property. So those are the four impacting pieces for this. Before I get into the staff findings, I do want to make mention that we did receive one written comment from a neighbor who was concerned on what the actual use of the workshop would be, whether it was going to be commercial or personal. Informed them that it would be a personal use workshop, no commercial. They were worried about traffic down the road on this. After I responded to them, I did not receive anything in response to my response, so I am assuming that their needs or their concerns were alleviated. So with that, staff's findings are that this request is tied to unique physical constraints of the property. It is not self-imposed and provides the limited adjustment needed to allow reasonable use of the lot. So tonight's recommendation is to 1, hold a public hearing, and 2, approve variance 2026-01. I just realized I missed over something here really quick. Another piece too is to show that the request tonight is not uncharacteristic with the neighborhood itself. And it is important to point out that lots number 1 and number 2 both have structures within approximately 10 feet off of their rear property line. This was approved arbitrarily by staff that is no longer with the town of Chino Valley, but just wanted to point that out because if the board determines that this variance request is approved tonight, this would not be a one-off in this neighborhood where 2 already exist. So, with that, is there any questions or concerns? The applicant is in attendance this evening. He does not have anything further to add to the presentation, but is open for questions.
Before we go forward, I'd like to do some disclosures.
Sure.
We have not asked the committee members if they've had any ex parte discussion.
Understood. Yes, ma'am.
Have any of you spoken about this request with anyone in the community or the applicant himself?
No.
No. Okay. And I, Sandy Tutabeni, need to do a full disclosure myself. I happen to reside in unit number 1, not quite visible on the screen, just above the last blue marked home. Thank you, Will.
You're welcome.
Right there. I happen to have a house that does indeed have a garage that is 10 foot off the back of the property. This occurred prior to my owning it. It was in 2009. I had no idea that there was such a thing. I was new to Arizona. We bought the house as is, and so therefore I want you to be fully aware. I do not believe that because I reside in this neighborhood that I will be somehow inappropriate or unethical. I'm looking at this from the absolute written request and all of the evidence provided before me. In fact, I went so far as to research the CCRs, and Will alluded to the fact that, yes, they're a little different than what's reported on the plat, which is online somewhere. So I did bring that new information forward. So at this point, I'm going to proceed with this committee assuring all of you I will be totally impartial and look at the facts of the case. And I thank you very much. Will, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have any questions at this point for staff?
Questions?
Does this structure with going only 10 feet at the rear, does it impact that 40-foot easement for flood control or drainage?
So, excellent question, Vice Chair. Then from the plat itself, there is no real definition as to what that 40-foot, this 40-foot setback is, other than it's just a typical what the original developer wanted. There's not power lines back there. There's not, any sort of utilities. There's no flood. It's just a rear visual setback.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. Is there a planned driveway entrance? How would someone approach the building?
So the driveway will be restricted to, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on the street name right here. It's, Lauren Lane. The subdivision itself does have what's called a non-vehicular access easement along back here that restricts permanent access from Sycamore. However, we have allowed and will allow, if this variance is passed, a temporary construction pass-through, so you're not pulling all the trucks down Lauren through their driveway, crushing all the concrete. It would come through Sycamore. They'd essentially cut the fence, drop their construction, construct, repair the fence, be on with their way.
So access ultimately would be from the front yard driveway.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Where is the leach field located?
Leach field is actually you can see it on the site plan here. It is approximately where the large tree is,
Okay,
maybe 30 feet from the house, 30 feet from the proposed shop.
okay.
You had a question?
That's where the leach field is, but the septic tank is on the side.
Correct, right here.
Was-
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Right.
Leach
septic
field's in the
field-
back,
Yeah, septic tank is here.
septic's on the
Correct.
side.
Yeah.
Yes, was there ever a similar request denied in the past?
No, this is the first variance request in Mesa View Estates.
Okay.
Thank you.
Was this house purchased the way it was, or did this person have the house built?
This house was purchased the way it was.
So it was existing.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
So he had no what's the setbacks on both sides of the house? From the edge of the house to the property line, I should say. Obviously, it's outside of the
Yeah,
setbacks.
we can do a quick. Sorry, forgive me here. If I can get it. This will just be a very rough calc.
Sure.
So we're maybe 40 feet from the side here, from the south property line. $30 feet from the north.
So there's room for the driveway to miss the septic tank on
Correct.
that edge. So-
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. We would love to hear from the applicant.
At this point, he does not have anything to add, but if you do have specific questions for him,
Okay, very good, thank you.
absolutely.
Anyone have any questions for the applicant?
What is the intent to use, I mean, this is a big structure. What is the intent to use that large of a structure?
My name's Carolyn Saunders. I'm Darren's wife. This structure is intended for him to do his car projects. He has lifts, he has machines, he has a lot of equipment. That is his hobby, that has been his dream his entire life. That's why when we came up here, we looked at this house, we talked to the town before we even put a bid in on the house. And we were told 10-foot setbacks. We measured out, I mean, he went to the fact of CADing it all out into a CAD program to figure out the size of the shop that he could fit in there and the size of his equipment, what would fit inside that shop to make sure it would all fit. We currently have 3 40-foot shipping containers of equipment that we are paying storage on, which will go into the shop.
Any other questions for Mrs. Saunders? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do we have any public comments? Did anyone write a request in? Yes.
So we do need to open the public hearing, so we would need a motion.
Yes.
Yes.
May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion to open public hearing.
I second.
All those in favor say aye. Yes, we will open. Sir, did you fill out a paper?
I did not. I wasn't sure if that was a comment or a question, so.
Well,
Come up to the podium, state
Sure.
your name.
we'll get it for the record at least.
Good evening, Richard Castile. I have the property directly to the west. Really, you answered, I had 2 questions. One was if there's going to be permanent driveway access off Sycamore Vista, which apparently there's not other than construction, no problem. What about the height of the structure? That's really my only question.
It's, the interior is 13 feet tall with a 312 pitch. I made it as short as I could.
Oh, it's not 2-story?
No. And I do want to clarify with my wife, I'm a little emotional, but I don't have 3 containers of machines and stuff. I have materials and things of that nature, parts of car projects and stuff, but a lot of things I need to do what I do. I only have a couple of machines left, but it's mostly just car part storage.
Thank you for the clarification. Okay. And were your questions answered, sir?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other public comments? All righty. Do any of our committee members have any questions for Will?
Sandy, if we could go
Yes.
ahead and make a motion to close the
Make a
public
motion to
hearing.
close the public comments.
Okay. Who would like, you made a motion? Who would like to second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Okay. It's time for some deliberations.
We still have questions for staff.
You do. Do you have questions for Mr. Will?
Are we able to know why this has made it this far to us, as far as planning and zoning, town council, or is that something
So,
that's irrelevant?
absolutely, thank you, Board Member Warren. All variance requests go directly to the Board of Adjustment. It doesn't go to planning and zoning or council. That's a statutory requirement. The only place that would supersede that is if we decided a hearing officer instead of the group of you fine people in front of us tonight.
Just for clarification, thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other comments, questions? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve variant 2026-1.
Second.
So seconded.
All those in favor of making a motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Would like a roll call?
Board Member Layton,
Approve.
Board Member Warren,
Yes.
Board Member Ridley,
Approve.
Vice Chair Duffy,
Approve.
Chair Tutabedi.
Approve. Thank
Item
you.
passes
Motion
5-0.
has passed. Thank you very much.
We'll see you again in 3 years.
I'll see you again.
The first 3 bids to get right.
Motion to adjourn the GRA.
Motion to, Mike. Motion to adjourn. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.